Hey, this is Ryan of Happy Healthy Vegan. So the other day on our YouTube channel's community tab, I made a post there asking you guys to help me out, give me some topics or videos that you'd like to see me make. And thanks so much. You guys left a lot of great ideas, and I'm definitely going to use a few of those in the coming days and weeks. But anyway, I noticed another type of question that was being asked there, just good general vegan questions that don't require a 6-minute video to answer. So I'm going to start a new feature here on our channel, Q&A from questions that you guys submitted. So the first one comes from Bryce Cooks This. Bryce says, I have a question about smoothies. I make my kids smoothies daily with bananas, berries, water, date, and spinach. Lots of people, doctors, and even plant-based people say smoothies aren't good and lead to gaining weight. I see your smoothies daily, so is everyone wrong? It's my kids' favorite breakfast. So yeah, for our longtime hardcore viewers, you probably know I've been drinking fruit smoothies pretty much on a daily basis for about maybe 5 years now, the entire time we've had our channel. And as you guys can see, I'm not gaining weight. I'm not like going up and down. I'm staying pretty consistent as far as my weight and leanness. And some people have said, oh, it's only because I do excessive exercise. And no, I just do what the United States government recommends, about 4 to 5 hours a week. I'm not like going crazy with exercise. I don't even exercise every day. About maybe 3-4 days a week on really good weeks. So that's just my own personal experience. It's not a scientific experiment or anything like that. So if you want something a little more sciencey to back it up, I looked over on nutritionfacts.org, and Dr. Greger really didn't have anything bad to say about smoothies. Just 2 things to watch out for, tooth enamel and drinking them too quickly. So I'll link to his video here so you can learn a little bit more about the pluses and the 2 downfalls of smoothies. Alfonso asked about vegan pre-workouts for strength and endurance athletes. And most of you guys know I was a runner for about maybe 3-4 years. And this year I switched over to more strength training, getting strong for basketball. So I have, a little bit of knowledge of both sides there, endurance and strength. But as far as pre-workout meals, I've never had one ever other than a banana. Yeah, about 15-20 minutes before I go running or play basketball and go to the gym, I'll have a banana. And that's it. The reason why is I don't want a bunch of stuff jiggling around in my belly when I'm doing any of those activities. And I'm not really that hungry. Just that one banana gets me full because, I don't do any fasting or anything like that. I eat plenty of food. So when I wake up in the morning, my body's glycogen stores are basically full. So I have plenty of energy and calories to go and exercise for 2, even 3 hours on just one banana in the morning. So yeah, that's all I take. Never had a vegan pre-workout food or anything like that. But when I get back home, I'm eating hardcore. I'm having that big fruit smoothie that I was just talking about. Angela's VA asks, is it necessary to take supplements? And I assume for vegans, do vegans need to take supplements? Well, throughout all my research into what deficiencies vegans may have, the only one that seemed to pop out was possibly B12. But again, remember, B12 deficiency is not a vegan issue. About 40% of Americans are either deficient or low in B12. So anyway, I figured, what have I got to lose? If that's the only thing I have to worry about, I'll supplement with B12. And remember, I started supplementing not because I was low. I already had really high, strong levels of B12. And as soon as I started supplementing with a sublingual B12 spray a few times a week, my levels are sky high, much higher than your average North American's B12 levels. Either way, I strongly suggest that you go to your doctor and get a blood test done and ask for a B12 test because it's not normally part of a blood panel, and see where your B12 levels are right now. Humanely Vegan asks, what about diving into the whole area of, quote, white veganism? There's been vegans I've come across with that have told me veganism is an ideal for white people, and it still discriminates against minorities. I myself am Hispanic, and I don't see that being true. Well, I'm actually quite shocked to hear you say that actual vegans have said this to you. It's typically anti-vegans who will sometimes make this argument that veganism is only for white people, people of privilege, people who can afford it. And that's just a load of nonsense. How is it that eating plants is a white thing or a class thing or anything of the sort when people all around the world, in fact, some of the poorest people in the world are eating a pretty close to near vegan diet? As Anji and I responded to in a video recently, how his anti-vegan was arguing or asserting that poor people in African countries could never possibly go vegan because they're so poor, when it turns out they're already eating a heavily plant-based diet.
Does this guy do any research whatsoever? I Googled Burundi diet, and guess what I found out?
They eat a simple bounty of beans, plantains, bananas, corn, cassava, sweet potato, and peas. Basically the staple foods that you and I are always talking about how we eat. Indeed, white people and people of privilege don't have some kind of monopoly on eating whole food plants. You don't have to go to fancy vegan restaurants. You don't have to eat fancy vegan foods in order to be vegan. But if you want some of these fancy vegan foods and fancy vegan restaurants, you can. And if you take a look at Happy Cow's list of cities with the most vegan restaurants, here's their top 12. Half of them are in non-white countries. We're talking about Asia and South and Central America. So this argument is complete nonsense. So I want to thank you guys for sending me some great, good, practical questions to answer, questions that hopefully help you out in your veganism. Not all of my videos that I film in this room need to be calling out some anti-vegan or some outrageous anti-vegan article on the internet. So I want to make more videos like this that help you out with your questions about veganism. So give this video a thumbs up, a like, if you appreciate this new format. Like I said, if I see some good reaction, response here, I'll make this a regular feature, at least, a couple times a month. So let me know that you like this. I guess that's it. And so until next time, as we always keep preaching here, guys, let's keep it carb, baby. Keep it carved. And before I go, I'd like to give some big shout outs to our latest supporters on Patreon. Thank you so much, guys, for helping us just be able to produce this show on the regular. It really means a lot to us. So big shout outs go out to Connie, Paul, Meg, and Lori. Thanks so much. And if you'd like to help support us and our show on Patreon, check out our page there. You get all sorts of cool rewards, from shout outs to music to ebooks to t-shirts.
You've got me spinning circles, spinning round and round, spinning till I'm dizzy, falling to